Once again today, we see the contrast between fierce criticism of Donald Trump in some Russian papers over the Iran war and the absence of criticism from the Kremlin. Vladimir Putin clearly keen to maintain good relations with the US president, seeing benefits there for Russia. The headline in Moskovsky Komsomolets, "In the role of supplicant, Trump telephoned Putin." It would be an exaggeration to say that in his telephone conversation with Vladimir Putin, the US leader was a humiliated, meek supplicant. But Trump is definitely a supplicant, a politician who needs help extricating himself from the poisoned political web spun from his arrogance and recklessness. And Putin is a leader whose political trump cards have dramatically multiplied due to the miscalculations of his American counterpart. Having decided that he possesses the elixir of omnipotence, the American leader brought his enemies to heel in ascending order of the problems they were causing. And finally, in Iran, with its 92 million people, he ran into an enemy that may be too strong for him. Less colourful from the Russian government paper, the headline, "Calling the Kremlin." The paper makes it clear that the US president initiated the call. But nothing here about supplicants, arrogance or recklessness. Donald Trump called to discuss several extremely important subjects related to the developing international situation. And no mention of multiplying trump cards for Putin, just that Vladimir Putin expressed several thoughts aimed at a swift resolution of the Iran conflict. And yet this war is providing Russia with more cards. First of all, financial ones. Kommersant's headline, "Donald Trump promises to lift sanctions on Russia." And here's a play on words. Instead of the phrase "точки соприкосновения," which means areas of common interest, the headline reads "бочки соприкосновения," botchki being barrels of oil. After their telephone conversation, Donald Trump promised to remove oil sanctions from some countries and not reimpose them if there's peace. The chief beneficiaries of this decision are Moscow and its partners in Asia. Izvestia, sanctions may be lifted on Russia's tanker fleet. This will bring a rise in export earnings. The Russian government will welcome that. The Russian economy has been under enormous pressure. Moskovsky Komsomolets reports that 1 in 3 small business owners in Russia considering closing down or selling their companies. And this in Kommersant. In January-February, Russia's federal budget deficit rose to 1.5% of GDP, or 3.45 trillion rubles. That's nearly the planned deficit for the whole year. Such a gaping hole in the budget is caused by the slide in oil and gas revenues and a significant increase in spending in January and February. But against the backdrop of current global events, revenues from oil and gas should grow. Interesting that Komsomolskaya Pravda feels the need to explain to readers this. Why is Russia not providing military assistance to Iran? First of all, we haven't got such an agreement with Iran, unlike, for instance, with North Korea, although no one has cancelled deliveries and servicing of Russian military hardware previously supplied. Russia actively supports Tehran on the political diplomatic level, of which both our partners and enemies take note. Secondly, and most importantly, our main military goal now is in Ukraine. That is where our principal resources are directed. There are important and difficult international talks going on regarding the special military operation. We must achieve success here, first and foremost. So the Kremlin's main focus remains Ukraine, and the current high oil price and the possible easing of sanctions, well, they promise to boost Russia's war chest. Viedomosti looks at American diplomacy. With strikes on Iran, Donald Trump has weakened not only the Iranian government, but the image of his diplomacy. To be specific, the people who tried to conduct it, his son-in-law Jared Kushner and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff. Why does this matter to Russia? Because these same individuals, who either couldn't or wouldn't stop Trump from breaking off talks with Iran, talk to Moscow too. In Washington's foreign policy actions, there is one constant. From the president down to ordinary officials, no one sees any need to give guarantees and talk on equal terms. The Trump administration follows this approach, and apparently it isn't planning to make any exceptions.